everyone, it's MAELI here from MAELI Designs, and I hope you're all having a great day so far. I just wanted to talk a little bit about some new content that I'm going to be creating. Over the past couple of months or so, I've been getting a lot of questions from followers about how they would go about starting their own pattern shop, how they would go about writing their first pattern, what to expect and where to draw inspiration from. And something that I have always wanted to try, but I guess I've honestly been too shy to, or didn't feel like I had enough experience for, is vlogging my process. And not necessarily a tutorial, but I guess kind of like a tutorial, but just showing you all my process from start to finish, how I came up with inspiration, how I go about making garments that fit my body, and writing them down on paper. And honestly, I don't always feel like I am the best at taking my thoughts and putting them on paper, which is why testers are fantastic, because they will call me out on my crap. So anyways, what I just wanted to do for all of you is to just show you more about my process, and I hope that you enjoy it. So this particular pattern that I'm going to be showing you, it's not really a pattern, but it was just kind of an idea that I came up with on a whim one day. I actually came up with this idea a couple of months ago, and I have even thrown this idea around to other creators, like, hey, you should, try making one of these, because I just think it would be so cute. But at the time I was so busy doing other things, and maybe it exists, I'm not entirely sure, but I haven't seen it pop up yet. So I've decided, you know what, I'm gonna make it and give it a shot. I have seen a lot of cute, like, short puffer jackets cycling the internet lately. And I thought to myself one day, this would be so cute if it was made out of blanket yarn. So I was casually browsing Giant Fabrics the other day, waiting for a pickup order to be ready. And I, came across this bin of Burnett blanket extra thick yarn, and I thought that it was just the most beautiful color. It is like a seafoam green, light blue, very icy looking, and I think this paired with like a white turtleneck and either white jeans or white flares would be super, super cute. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. So I picked up 2 of these. It is a size 7 jumbo weight yarn, and it says here that it requires a 25mm hook, but I couldn't find one at the store. So instead, I picked up a 30mm hook. This one is by Boy. I believe this was like $6 or $7. And then the yarn itself is, I believe, if I can remember correctly, it's originally $27. All of this is USD, by the way. I believe this was $27 original price, and it was on sale for $18. I picked up 2 of them just in case, because I am notorious for losing at Yarn Chicken, even if I think that it's enough. You think I would learn my lesson by now, but maybe I did, because I picked up 2 anyways. So it would be really nice if I could just use 1, but I picked up 2 just in case. So what I want, though, to make clear about this process is that I want this to be very real. So even if I make a mistake or something didn't come out right, I'm going to be very transparent about it. I'm going to be honest. And if you have any questions about my process too, feel free to let me know. Hey everyone, I'm back. It's been a couple of days since I've picked up this project, and I know that I said I wanted to be 100% honest and transparent with you all, and long story short, I spent maybe like 3 hours and I frogged this project twice, and it just did not work. It was really bad. I made it way too chunky, and I mean, I can't even describe it. It just looks so bad, and I had to delete all those videos because I ran out of space on my phone. So I wish I would have kept it so I could have shown you what it looked like, but long story short, it just didn't work out. I spent a few hours recording and stuff like that, so, and all that footage is gone. But basically what I did, I crocheted this cardigan using the single crochet stitch, And the problem with the single crochet, well, I guess the problem with crochet in general is that it's a much thicker stitch than knitting is. So like if you knit something, it's thinner and more flat, whereas a crocheted stitch is just has a little bit of width to it. So it made the cardigan too chunky, and on top of that, I made it bulky the same way I would make a normal cardigan bulky, and it just made me look like I was a giant marshmallow swallowing, like being swallowed in it. And I don't know if you've ever seen Christmas Story. I don't remember the characters' names, but one of the little kids was like had his arms out walking around waddling because he couldn't put his arms down because his mom like wrapped him in bubble wrap and put too many clothes on him or something like that. Yeah, that's pretty much what I looked like. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to frog this, and the new process that I came up with is I'm going to make it to my exact dimensions. So the chunkiness is going to only come from the thickness of the yarn, and I'm going to crochet knit it. So similarly to how someone would finger knit a piece, I'm going to do the same thing but with my crochet hook, so all of my loops stay the same size, and I will kind of show you that process a little bit too.
Okay, so really quick, I was able to find what the cardigan looked like before I frogged it, and as you can see, it looks really, really bad.
Okay, I just finished frogging. It is literally an entire trash bag full. It is a little bit more than one ball of yarn. So now I'm going to get started. Okay, so first I'm going to start by making a long chain that is the length of my waist. So my waist is roughly 25 inches, but I'm just going to chain and wrap it around it. So I'm going to go ahead and make my slip knot. And then I'm going to make my base chain. Okay, so I'm happy with this length. I'm able to wrap it around my waist, and with a little bit of like tension, it wraps around and it fits pretty snugly. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so next I'm gonna make one more chain like this here, and then so here's this loop here. This is going to be our first loop up. Starting with the second loop here, I'm going to insert my hook this way and pull up another loop. So for example, I'm going to take my hook, insert it through this loop, grab my yarn and pull up like this. And I want to make sure my yarn can fit through it though, because I want my loops to be the correct size. And then that'll be my second loop. And I'm going to do this in each chain all the way across. Okay, so you can see here, I have my loops. They're all about the same width just because of my crochet hook here. So now I'm going to go back in the opposite direction, and I'm going to insert my hook through this first loop and pull the yarn through from the back side, kind of like this. as if it's hard to do with one hand, but then pull it through the loop like that. But I'm going to use my hook to do it so it stays a consistent size. I'm going to go back this way and I'll meet you back at the end. Something that I also forgot to mention is that you want to make sure that your stitches aren't twisted. It'll be really noticeable. So like here in this loop, you can see like there's a separation here, but what you want to avoid is your loops looking like this when you're going through them, because you're going to see the different texture. So you want to make sure that it stays nice and open like this. Okay, yeah, so this is the second row. So far I think it's looking cute. So yeah, this is our first loop, and then we just completed the second row. So now this next row, we're going to work some increases so that it gives it a little bit of a chunkier look. Okay, so I'm going to carefully lift this up, and now I'm just going to test it and wrap it around my waist. Be careful you don't lose any of your loops though. So I want to wrap it around my waist here, and you can see that this still fits pretty nicely the way that I would expect it to, with some tension. Awesome. So now what I want to do is place some increases to give it a little bit more of like a chunkier look up top. So I'm going to wrap it around my bust because I want it to match my bust. And here you can see that I could probably add like 4 more stitches to close this area right here up. So I'm going to start by adding 2 stitches on each side. I'll probably place them closer to the end just to make it easier. But so like here on this, I'll probably place the stitches here and here, and then the same thing on the other end. So I forgot to show you how I placed my increases. Basically, whenever wherever I want to place an increase, I'm just going to slip another loop up through the space between stitches. So like that would be underneath this string right here and underneath this string right here. If you haven't watched an arm knitting video or a finger knitting video, I definitely recommend just checking it out, because I think it'll really help with the technique as well. Okay, so now after I've worked my increases, I'm just going to work normal straight rows until it measures from like the middle of my waist, or my natural waistline here, all the way up to like mid breast area, because this is where I want it to stop so I can leave like a nice chunky sleeve. Friendly reminder, make sure you're not twisting your stitches. So like take the time to look at it every once in a while, because like right here you can see that I accidentally twisted my stitch. So I would just need to undo it, twist it back, and then pull my loop back through. It's really easy to fix. But like I said, when a stitch is twisted, you can really see it, so just make sure you're checking that.